Hi, this is my work toolbox, Cornwall box, with a Craftsman top. On the sides I have creeper and a step stool. We're working on semis. Our collection of carnage, snap-on T-handled hex, 30-foot test leads, motivational poster, dial indicator, mag tray, welding hood and jacket, trouble light, extension cords, air hose goes here. Top, got some inspection mirror, a bunch of guide studs for different engines, thread chasers for diesels. Just take one of the old head bolts and make a little helix cut, a couple of helix cut, and when you're running in and out, it cleans all the crap out. First you fill the holes up with brake clean and let it sit for a little while and blow all the brake clean out, and then tap it out, or chase it out rather. We have pressure test gauge for international high pressure oil systems, DTs, 73, 63, 65s. More guide studs, thermometer, thread pitch gauges, tire gauges, stuff like that. Test leads for testing IPRs on internationals. We have Pittsburgh, super cheap, but the best one you can get for the money. Dial indicator with a snake for doing wheel bearings. In here is a Mitutoyo dial indicator that's good up to half a thousandths. Some taps and extractor taps and helicoils. These are carbide bits for 1/8" pencil grinder. Really nice set. Long hex or Torx, sorry. These are feeler gauges for doing, this is my overhead box. So feeler gauges for doing max force 13, valve adjustments, homemade tool for doing the valves, another homemade tool for doing the valves so you can adjust it and then you tighten down the lock nut with that. I had this protrusion gauge made, it's copied off of the Caterpillar gauge that runs like 600 bucks. Had it machined up, works perfect. Homemade Cat 3116 injector timing tool. That's about it for that box. Cutting glasses, strikers, test IPR, radio tools. If you ever do AC work and you replace compressors, save the little plugs that it comes with, and that way when you're doing a repair and you have to take the AC compressor off, you just put these in and keeps all the crap from going in there. Thread sealants, lubes for Bendix Air O-rings, spare brake parts, a whole bunch of junk. Mitutoyo dial caliper, Horton fan clutch, fan hub tool. They used to give this with the new fan hub. They don't give those anymore. So if you have one of those, save onto it. Bunch of test sensors and miscellaneous O-rings, crap like that. These are 3/8 and 1/4" drive Allen keys, long and shorts. In the big box, I have snap-on 3/8 air ratchet, 725 impact, 325 impact. This is a Tooltopia find. Actually a really nice air ratchet. Spare lock set for internationals. Miscellaneous extra bolts and O-rings and crap like that. Junk collector. Stud extractors. This is metric and the other one's standard. Really nice for doing studs on turbos and stuff like that. 1/4 inch drive. It's all 1/2 inch drive, doesn't get used much. This is a tool, the other half of the tool that they give you in the Horton fan clutch. It's not quite a torque, it's I forget what it actually is. But it fits right in a 7/16 socket. Perfect. Injector line socket. Snap-on makes it. Let's see what else. Tap sockets. 3/4 drive stuff. 1/2 inch drive. This 3/4, 1/2 inch drive stuff. 3/8 drive stuff. Lug nut sockets. Regulator for using my air drill, and then also doing a lot of different pneumatic tests on semis. Got a ball valve so you can shut it and see what it holds. Stamp set. Pittsburgh is all you need. It's cheap and it works. A kingpin out of a something. Looks like out of a 4300. IPR socket. Special tool for yanking IPRs. There's the connector for the solenoid. Slides right here and lets you get in there and take it out. In this front here, it's a 27-inch snap-on. 2-foot or 18-inch Craftsman ratchet for 26 bucks. You can't beat it. Long 3/8 drive extension. What else? 24-inch. What do you call it? What's it called? Straight edge. Sorry. Alright, wrench drawers. Snap-on, Blue Point. These Cornwell ratchet long are super nice. Crow's feet, metric and standard. Custom made stuff. These are fantastic sockets. I think these are right tools. Phenomenal sockets. Snap-on, double angle. Snap-on, double monkey wrench. Gear wrench. It was running a deal. Both of these sets for $100 from Menards, and you can't beat that for shorties. Alright, next drawer down, line wrenches, moon wrenches for doing air compressors and fuel pumps, scrapers, brake adjustment tools, modified T-handles for doing valve adjustments, standard Blue Points, fan clutch holding tool, filter wrenches, Typhoon air gun is sweet. Hose clamp pliers that's a must-have. Those things are super nice. Screwdrivers, picks. This is a little tool made for knocking out ball joints. Sorry, tie rod ends out of trucks. Plugs for doing when you're pulling Allison transes. This is for the World Series trans, plugging the lines. Miscellaneous electrical connectors for internationals. These go to the body controllers. No good sensor for international 13 liter. I believe this fuel pump is still good. The primer pump. This primer pump is still good. the suction bowl and strainer. I gotta modify this and put a test fitting so I can read suction pressure. Snap-on torque wrench. That's an oldie. That one's got to be at least 30 years old. Cornwall 1/2-inch air drill, reversible, super nice drill. 1/4, 3/8, and 1/2-inch torquemeter torque wrench, or tech wrench. Sorry, the electronic tech torque wrenches. Starrett test indicator set. For pencil grinders, for $15 or whatever it is at Harbor Freight, that's a pretty good tool. You pay an extra 10, and when you break it, you get an extra one. You can get it twice. Pliers drawers. If you're in the diesel world, these are a must for clamping coolant lines and airlines, rubber airlines. Some strippers, crimpers. My other crimpers are in the other box. Snap ring pliers for doing trans work. This is the best grinder that you will ever find, and that's the 120-degree Cornwall air grinder. Excellent. Nobody else makes. None of the other tool makers make a better grinder than this one. This is a tray I had made up. It's out of aluminum, and it's kind of the junk collector. Turbo studs, turbo nuts. Most of these are international or Cummins. That's off of a 3116 exhaust. Caging bolts for brake chambers, brass and plugs. You never have enough of spares. Underneath here is a bunch of caps for plug-in intakes and plug-in turbos. Whole bunch of literature that is an absolute must in the diesel world. I think that's a test sensor for a DT530, coolant adapter. And here we have, this is just a shit set I bought just for the adapters. This is it. If you are looking for a pressure test coolant, this is the best one. It's pneumatic. You don't have to pump. Just plug in your airline and fill her up. Test headlight for load testing circuits. This is a whole bunch of injector O-rings and stuff like that out of Caterpillars, Caterpillar Internationals, and Cummins exhaust gaskets for that's a 13 liter right off of the DOC. That's what that gasket's for. Spare injector pressure pipe for a 13 liter. Chelsea PTO gaskets. Fan clutch wrench. Lyle makes the best one. Right here, it's pneumatic. Infrared thermometer, high-speed drill bits, punch. This is for doing gasket cutter. You can pretty much make any gasket you need to with this set. It's a must-have. Test meter. What do you call it? For testing, it's a known good. Two known goods. That's two different models. Valve, spring tool. That's not for trucks, that's for little cars. You'll never get a truck spring off of that. Tap and die sets, metric and standard. Master extractor set is underneath here. And orifice tube kit. Fuel line and AC disconnect set. This is the best AC dilate that money can buy. Hands down the brightest, best one that you can get. It's the best one. I don't know if I said that. It's the best one. This is kind of a catch-all. They have a knee pad, OTC ball joint press, go to Harbor Freight, buy the adapter set for like 50 or 60 bucks, and it works great. Cover for when you pull the Eaton transes out. It's a top cover for it. Oh yeah, these are the straps that you need if you're pulling the auxiliary case off of a Eaton transmission, twin countershaft transmission. You need these straps on the auxiliary case to keep the shafts from falling when you pull it out. Welding gloves, engine pulling hook, lots of chains, different stuff like that. This pole here, piece of pipe, is for when you're doing on a 4300 International, when you're doing injectors. You don't have to pull the entire interior out. Matter of fact, you don't even have to pull the doghouse out. You take this and you pull one of the motor mounts off, or the cab mounts, either on the driver's side or passenger side. Stick this underneath there, jack it up, and then you put the bolt back in the cab mount, and then let it back down so it sits on the bolt. And then you have enough room to get the valve cover off and get the injectors out. And working from the bottom back up. Whole bunch of tests, ECUs and ECMs. There's a Wabco, there's a Bendix, there's a, for the first gen 13 liters, this is it's not the ECM, it's there's two modules, because the ECM that we're able to talk to is in English. The engine talks to a German module, and then this is the one that translates between the two. Extra hose clamps and intake clamps. This is the AC flush kit. The beading drawer. Had these machined up by my cousin, who's a machinist, out of stainless steel. Slide hammer adapters. So this way you can get in there and pull injector cups. Threads right onto the injector cup tap, and then put your hammer on there and slide it out. It's also good for doing yanking rear main seals. You don't have to pull the trans all the way out on my garbage trucks. You can get in there and just pull the rear main out with the shorties. Air hammer bits, air hammer, that thing hits hard. Pry Bar Drawer and lady slippers. This pry bar here is the best. These ones are the best pry bars ever. Cornwall is the only one that makes it. It's the PB3 is the big one, and then PB3S, and there's actually a bigger one than the PB3. It's the PB3L. Seriously, there's not a seal you can't get out with this thing. There's not. I mean, it's, once you buy one of these, you won't use any other pry bars. You'll use this one every time. What do you call it? Extension lock. Heavy duty transmission. What do you call it? Clutch alignment tool. This right here is the Super Scraper Ss5. It's a carbide scraper. It's the cat's ass. It's phenomenal scraper. You got to be careful on aluminum though, because you will, if you don't drag, it'll cut both ways. It'll cut on a push and then on a drag. If you're scraping aluminum, only use the drag, otherwise you're going to gouge. An electrical drawer is a Fluke 88. Amp clamp, crack torch, soldering gun, a whole bunch of test stuff. It's for Wabco, testing Wabco circuits. You pull the wheel speed sensor off, plug this in, these are soldered together, then you go to the ECO end and you test A to B, and if you have an open, you're going to find out real quick. It should be 0. Your reading should be 0 ohms or close to it. This is a test or a programming box I made. It's got a fuse and you got a terminal. Plug it into the hot side of the whatever you're reflashing. Go to battery positive, and now you don't have to disconnect all the fuses, because you can't have, when you're reflashing ECMs, you can't have any information on the data bus network except for with what you're programming. Otherwise, you'll just be fighting it the whole time. So on off. Fabric tape. International uses this stuff. It's excellent tape for wrapping harnesses. Shrink tube, hot glue, fuses, timing light, an inductive goes on a meter. You can read when your cylinder's firing on gasoline engines. Some solder, like I said, a whole bunch of test stuff in here. Ratchet drawer, extensions. Snap-on really does make the best ratchet. There's a 3/8 flex. There's a 1/4 inch. That one's actually kind of a nice. SK makes a decent one. This is an SK ratchet that I have. 1/4 inch drive is really nice. Adapters all the way from 3/4 down to 1/4 and then back up to half. Swivels, 1/4 inch extensions, little breaker bar. Another fantastic ratchet is Snap-on flex head shorty. What else? This is actually 1/4 inch drive flexible snake. If you ever try taking out some of the ECMs or the ECM connectors on Caterpillars and especially Cummins, if you don't have one of these, you know how much of a pain in the butt it is. So that's my box, and see you later.